That's right, Claire. Lots of people collect stamps. In fact, stamps are the third most collected item in the United States, right? We're here with Lonnie Ostrow, and he's the promotions director for IGPC, which is?
The Intergovernmental Philatelic Corporation.
And philatelic means what?
Stamp collecting.
Stamp collecting.
Sure.
And if you're a stamp collector, you're?
A philatelist.
A philatelist. Okay. Now, we mentioned, we saw earlier, the very first stamp ever issued. It was in Great Britain. And it's this one. It's called the penny black. Why is it called penny black?
Well, that stamp issued in 1840, 157 years ago, was the first stamp. It has Queen Victoria on it, and it has a little black background. It was only worth 1 penny, and so hence the penny black was its nickname.
And today, because this is stamped, it's worth $200, but if it wasn't stamped, it'd be worth at least $1,000?
It could be at least $1,000 if it was in mint condition. I mean, some have gone for as many as $2,000. But amazingly, that's even not that expensive considering how old it is. But that's a lot about the affordability of stamp collecting.
Yeah, it's a very affordable collection.
Sure.
All right, let's talk about the different types of stamps. Now, there are definitives and commemoratives. What's the difference?
There's two major categories, really, in stamps. There's the definitive stamps, which are the traditional stamps, like you see over there. Your dogs and cats and birds and flags and flowers and fearless leaders. And then you have your more commemorative stamps, the ones that commemorate famous people, places, and events, like
anniversaries and that sort of thing, like these.
Like the ones you're looking at right there, exactly.
Now, what's interesting, we see some American faces on these stamps, but these aren't U.S. stamps, right?
That's correct.
There's a difference. What are the rules or the guidelines between U.S. stamps and foreign stamps?
Well, the main rule, which most people are familiar with, is that here in the United States, you have to be dead for 10 years to be honored on a stamp, with the exception of a president. With foreign countries, not all countries hold to that guideline. So, for example, you could see a Sylvester Stallone or a Barbra Streisand or a Jackie Chan on a foreign postage stamp.
And there's an interesting story about Uganda, right, with Sylvester Stallone?
Well, sure. Some countries are very strict about who and what they can put on stamps, but with Uganda, they agreed to put Stallone as part of the Rocky tribute, the collective five-nation tribute, because boxing is so popular in their country, so he's really a fictional boxing character, and so they were able to justify that issue.
So these stamps are not Sylvester Stallone, they're
Rocky
character.
They're portraying a character who overcomes the odds to become a champion, and that's a great story.
And if you look down here, here's a photo of Stallone in Planet Hollywood with the stamps.
Yeah, that was the official unveiling ceremony here in New York. It was on the 20th anniversary date of the first release of Rocky.
So it's interesting because he was playing ball. He went along with this, right?
Oh, well, he was very honored. He was very humbled by it because very few people in their lifetime get the opportunity to unveil their own stamps.
So at least in the U.S.
Yeah, for sure. And so here was an opportunity, and he went along, and he was very, very humbled. It was a great experience.
Okay, there are a couple other hot stamps. Tell us about the John Lennon stamp. And there was like a bidding war between countries, right?
Well, not so much a bidding war, but what it is was there were 8 countries who all issued stamps to commemorate John Lennon on the 15th anniversary of his death, which was a little more than a year ago. And what happened is that 8 different countries participated, and they were all different pieces of artwork, so naturally the different pieces which were approved by Yoko Ono, John Lennon estate, were submitted to these different countries, and whichever ones they got, they sort of got. It was the luck of the draw, but they all span his entire lifetime. Okay, and the Bob Marley stamp from Jamaica? Yeah, that's a very popular issue. Jamaica issued that for his 50th birthday, which was last year, and that's a great issue because, you know, everybody knows Bob Marley in Jamaica. He's from there, and he's probably their most famous son, so it's a great issue and very, very popular worldwide. That's great. Now, if you're not a stamp collector, but you would like to start collecting, what's the best way to do it? Oh, there's so many great ways to get involved. Travel is the first way. If you travel around the world, you go to a foreign country, you get their stamps. But if you don't? But if you don't, you can pick up stamp publications like Lynn Stamp News, which comes out every week. You can go to stamp exhibitions. Stamp dealers are in every major city. And these conventions in every city all over the world, they continue to be popular. Or you could just peel them off an envelope if you get them in the mail. I mean, that's the way a lot of people start. You know, Governor Pataki actually told me a couple of weeks ago that he became a stamp collector because he envelopes, and that's how he started. That's great. Now, there's this one stamp that we want to address before you go. This is a hot stamp now because of something that happened last week. Well, you know, Deng Xiaoping was the great leader of China. When he passed away, a number of countries had previously issued stamps to commemorate actually a Chinese exhibition. And once he passed away, these stamps just went wild. The demand for them all over the world was unbelievable, at a record pace.
That's great. Okay, and one thing is that they always keep their face value.
Right.
Always?
A stamp is a very affordable item, obviously. Stamp face values aren't that high. But yeah, stamps always maintain at least what they're worth. And often they do increase in value if they're limited. The supply and demand forces up the market, certainly. Rarities are valuable. But for the most part, stamps are always maintaining at least what they say they're worth.
That's great. Thank you very much. Sure. Lonnie Ostrow from IGPC. We won't go through what it means.
Philatelic.
Philatelic.
That's right.
Thank you very much for informing us about stamp collecting. Now, and we still have a lot more show left. We'll be back with more personal FX in just a minute. Thanks, that was great.